Like Purdue, it's just an example. Purdue losing to Fresno State is okay. We still win the Big Ten West. But me,
Billy Napier gets fired. I'm just kidding.
Really the best time of the year. I will be seated watching Red Zone for 7 hours on Sunday.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to an episode of Backyard Banter. Johnny, James, Tanner. Super Bowl, one of the best second halves, not first half was boring. One of the best second halves in Super Bowl history. Just what a finish, two great teams, two of the best teams in football. I mean, Tanner, where does it rank in your Super Bowls and what did you think of the game?
I love the game personally. It ranks very highly up there. I think there's really only a few that I can remember that were better. Maybe that Patriots-Seahawks one, Patriots-Eagles, Patriots-Falcons.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a fun game, fun to watch. We all watched it together. There were complaints in the first half, like we want some points. But I tell you what, like first couple drives in the third quarter happened, and I'm like, this is gonna be a great finish. And it was one of those games where you felt like the Chiefs, you just knew they were gonna win.
They let him hang around too much.
Yeah,
and we talked about it.
Capitalized.
Tanner was so mad the first half he was throwing pizza boxes at the TV. I'm just kidding. But we all said it because the second half started with a few 3-and-outs, and then we're like, you're just letting them hang around, and then the Chiefs punted, and then they muffed the punt, and that completely changed the game. The Chiefs scored on the next play, and then from there the fireworks started.
Yeah, I mean it was frustrating for the Niners, I'm sure, not capitalize on the Chiefs not playing well for most of the game. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They have Patrick Mahomes, and you just know they're never out of any game. But shout out to the Chiefs. I mean, and their tone after the game wasn't like, "Oh, we just won the Super Bowl." It was
no teams.
This is just another one.
No team's done 3 in a row.
They want the first three-peat, and you can tell that's what's on their mind. So
yeah, it was a great game. I mean, it was. Like Tanner uses the word, it was cinema. Like it was
cinema.
It was cinema. Like it was great. It was one of those games that deserved overtime. Like we deserved extra football, free football.
We were all rooting for overtime.
And we at that point you're already 4 hours in. You're like, what's 15 more minutes? And in fact, not only that, the overtime went into the second overtime technically because of the whole new. Or no, it didn't. It was just short. It literally ran out of the wire. But we talk about the 49ers, and it was my concern early. It was, how is their defense going to come out? Well, flip that. Their defense came out and balled. Their offense did not early. They had a couple opportunities there early where when they kicked that field goal to go up 3-0, that was like, finally, they got points on the board. They should be up 13-0, right? Yeah. It was just the little mistakes, a couple penalties there that hurt them, and those penalties came back to hurt them in the beginning and the end. You think about that hold there, and I don't know if it was overtime or late fourth quarter, when Kittle went out, and it just hurts. But at the same time, like they said it yesterday at the end of the broadcast, Brock Purdy didn't lose this game, right? Patrick Mahomes was just special, and you talk about letting the Chiefs stick around. My biggest complaint with the 49ers, besides, I'm sure we'll get into it, besides taking the ball in overtime first, was abandoning the run to start the second half. CMC is probably, besides Patrick Mahomes and maybe Travis Kelce, the best player out on that field. And they weren't really giving it to him as much as... It seemed like he was playing a great first half, but he ended the game with maybe 75 rushing yards, and a lot of that late in overtime. I was disappointed they abandoned the run because Brock Purdy looked fine, but he didn't look super comfortable, especially late game. So I'm upset with two things that Niners did, taking the ball first in overtime, which I'm sure we'll get into, and then this fact that they abandoned the run because their defense played good enough to win a Super Bowl. They contained Patrick Mahomes long enough to win a Super Bowl, but it comes down to the offense putting points on the board.
Yeah, McCaffrey had 80 yards rushing, 80 yards receiving. He's one of the best. He's probably the best back I've seen.
Oh yeah.
Kind of in my lifetime. Very short lifetime. The little overtime after 22 carries, you tell me he catches the ball, does a high step, and sprints past Mike Edwards. I mean, we were all like, wow, like
special.
It's just different.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, here were the key plays. Mahomes threw the pick in the second half. 49ers didn't get any points off it. They lost yards on the drive. In the first half, there's just multiple times where, guys, it's 3-0 still. Here they come, 3-0. Oh, Trent Williams holding. Trent Williams false start. I hate a rough first quarter, first half, and then he locked in the second half. 49ers defense line, 3 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. Nick Bosa was unreal in the first half, and then the Chiefs defense line really turned. Whenever Steve Spagnuolo needed a stop, Chiefs defense coordinator, he brought the house on Brock Purdy. He was pressured on more than 40% of his dropbacks. They got after him. Brock Purdy didn't know where he gets all this hate, and me and May were talking about. He gets all this hate because he was the last pick. He was damn good in the game.
Oh yeah.
He had the one missed throw to Debo, and I kind of said there's going to be a Garoppolo missed throw. It wasn't that level because Chris Jones nailed him on that play, but it's right there, wide open. It's tough.
Right.
Just the schemes that were going on. With Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, like you said, it was just cinema. The different routes they're running, different motions. Like the last play that they ran, just brought McCole Hardman in motion. If you were told me McCole Hardman's going to win, catch a game-winning.
And they ran that to win the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Same exact play.
Yeah, same exact one. Sky Moore caught it, and Kadarius Toney. 2 players not to see the field.
Yeah, literally.
But Mahomes, 333, 2 touchdowns. His only mistake was the interception.
Yeah.
And then he was their leading rusher. Yeah. When they had to have it, he used his legs.
Yeah.
Mahomes is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. When you let the greats stick around like that for long enough, they're going to lose. He's on the Tom Brady trajectory. He's won 3 in 5 or 6 years as a starter. 5 years as a starter, just like Brady did. I think Brady was 6 years as a starter, but
I think
Brady, nonetheless, they're on a very similar trajectory. Whether it's age or whatever, both had 3 Super Bowls, both won one, then didn't go for a year. In Mahomes' case, they lost one and then won back to back. So
it could get to a point where you're really like, I don't know. Obviously, it's a lot of career. NFL is a crazy
Yeah,
league.
you gotta get to 7. And Brady beat him twice.
But man, I tell you what. Well, yeah, but it could get interesting. And honestly, if I had to predict, it's gonna get interesting in terms of greats because the Chiefs probably will win the Super Bowl next year. Like I'm used to it. It's a dynasty.
This
like
was the
it's
year
a
to
dynasty.
get the Chiefs. We all talked about
yeah.
it. They had no one that could catch the ball. They still don't have a wide receiver 2.
Yep.
Their defense was unreal. McDuffie played maybe the best game I've ever seen a cornerback play.
Yep.
He had the one holding in overtime, but besides that, Debo, 33 yards receiving. Ayuk, under 50. Lockdown. Jawan Jennings was the one making all the big plays.
Legacy game.
Trent McDuffie was unreal.
Yeah.
I can't say enough.
Jawan Jennings, touchdown, passing touchdown.
I thought
Jawan Jennings. We stand for Jawan Jennings on this podcast.
I thought George Karlaftis had a very big game for the Chiefs as well. He had a sack. Whenever they needed to get into the backfield, he got a pressure. I would like to know how many quarterback pressures he had.
He had half a sack.
He had a forced fumble. He had a
fumble recovery.
Fumble recovery. And a lot of tackles.
Which is the weakest stat in all of
He was there.
He fell on a ball.
I'm sorry, George Karlaftis was all over the field.
He was.
Well.
But if he went to Notre Dame, he would not be talking about George Karlaftis.
No, he did good. And then
he played really well.
There's just so much talent. Fred Warner on the defense, the best linebacker I've ever seen.
And that's why it was great. But my concern with the Super Bowl, they gotta shorten it up, man.
Like, oh no,
it's not going to. They pay so much money for the ads. There's gonna be.
That's the thing, though. Like, drive. Man, dude, we were like, the reason it was so boring was because the defense was playing so well that every 3 and out there was a commercial.
The game didn't have a rhythm until the second half,
and they can never have Usher perform again. I don't know.
Usher's just not our generation. I thought Usher was fine, but what a game! Sad football's over. But, where the 49ers go from here? This one felt like they had it. They outplayed the Chiefs, and they lost. The first one, it's like, whatever, we'll be back. Now, Kittle's getting older. Obviously, we saw what happened to Dre Greenlaw. He's still a younger player, snapped his Achilles. Armstead, getting older. Trent Williams, getting older. Debo, the way he plays, he's only going to be productive for so long. And the NFC is so bad that they should be back in the NFC title game again next year. But it's just... Where do you go from here? This was a team. This was to do it. You got 2 years left on Brock Purdy barely making minimum wage, and this is now the time. You got to pay Ayuk. You got to eventually have to re-sign Trent Williams. You're eventually going to have to re-sign McCaffrey.
Purdy.
You got 2 more years.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some moves because they made some moves during the season before the trade deadline. That was, we're going to win this year. And so they're going to lose some of those pieces, especially like on the defensive side. But they're going to be fine, right? Like, Brock Purdy has established himself with Kyle Shanahan as just a good
team will always be competitive.
And you add in the fact that they have Christian McCaffrey, it's like it's going to be hard to fail. And then, like you said, especially in the NFC. So shout out to them. My thing is when I look at what needs to happen out of these two teams, I need to see what the Chiefs are going to do, because although the Chiefs somehow just go out there and win, they don't have a ton of talent on the offense, and I think they need to go out there and find another wide receiver that can actually establish themselves as wide receiver 1, because You add another weapon on that offense, which they should,
Yeah.
right? They need to. To help Patrick Mahomes, they need another weapon on the offensive side. You add a wide receiver 1, even a wide receiver 2 on that team, they are going to be borderline unbeatable,
Yeah.
right? Especially with how well they are coached. Andy Reid just announced he's coming back. He's not going to retire. He's coming back for the three-peat. This team's going to be tough to beat moving forward, and I see them hitting the whatever you want to call it, they're going to hit the deadline hard or whatever, free agency. They're going to hit it
I
hard.
think they'll hit the draft hard.
Yeah.
They'll hit the draft hard for sure. They have a lot of capital.
They have drafted extremely well. Chris Jones,
Yeah.
he's probably gone. He's going to get $100 million from somewhere. But I mean, they've drafted McDuffie, they drafted Snead, they drafted Karlaftis. They've really kind of shored up that defense. And Chiefs are. And anytime you have Mahomes, you're going to be competitive. It doesn't matter what you put around him, as long as you have Mahomes and Kelsey's getting up there in age. But
Hopefully Ryan Poles can start drafting for the.
You mean how about Matt Nagy, Super Bowl champion? Yeah,
second time.
2 in a row for him.
2 in a row for Matt Nagy.
Good for him.
Shout out to the Chiefs. Another football season in the books. An epic game. The last 7 minutes of the third quarter was just absolutely incredible. I loved every second. But Chiefs 25, 49, 22. Football season is over.
XFL, here we come.
March Madness.
I'm convinced we're going to start talking about the
March
XFL.
Madness.
That's it.
Is next up.
Yeah.
Now it's time for college basketball. We're in the heart of it, man. College basketball season. And Tanner has his top 10 for us. Tanner, who you got?
Yeah, so another good weekend at college hoops. A lot of big-time games. Some teams lost. Some teams took care of business.
Some teams lost. Some teams won.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. Shout out Florida Gators, man.
That was a big win for Florida.
I'm going to keep hyping up Zion Poland until he gets his national respect. He scored in double figures, 20 straight games. He's top 5 in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. He has just been utterly unreal for Florida. He makes them potentially, if they hit their shots, a second weekend team. He's that good.
Yeah. I kind of figured Florida would win. We didn't really get to go into game picks for the weekend, but I did personally have Florida winning that game Saturday. So good to see Florida get a big win. That was big for them. But into the top 10. 10, I got Iowa State. I've watched a lot of Iowa State ball this year, surprisingly, and they just find ways to win games. They're
Big 12, man.
They're good defensively. They're good in transition. I have concerns with them offensively in the half court. Just not a good team when the game is slowed down offensively for them because they don't really shoot it great, and I just don't think they run great sets. But I think everything else with this team is very dangerous. They are going to be a very quietly sneaky team in March Madness. At 9, I got South Carolina moving up one spot. Carolina watched them a lot too.
They've been good.
21-3.
Johnson,
yeah,
come on.
21-3. You can't argue that.
In the SEC, went to Kentucky and won. Beat beat Tennessee at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they played Georgia, took care of them.
Yeah.
Georgia's not a bad team, but yeah, shout out South Carolina, man. They got things that, again, projected to pick last in the SEC.
Yeah, and they're winning the SEC, first place. Yeah. So at 8, I got North Carolina. I just can't figure out this team. They lost to Clemson.
Should have lost to Miami.
But they're still talented and they have a good record. They have a good resume.
They lack that third player for me. They have the Bangkok. They got R.J. Davis. They lack that third player. Could it be the Notre Dame transfer? Could it be
Harrison Ingram?
They're like Duke for me. That when I look and I see Duke's not in your rankings, but a team that has a ton of potential and has the dudes to win, just maybe not putting it together quite yet. So you talk about Duke and UNC. Obviously, they played against each other, whatever. But those are two teams that are just not. They're just coasting right now. They're just coasting. They're winning the games they could.
So bad.
Yeah, it is good. It is really bad. But I don't look at UNC and I don't look at Duke and I'm like, oh, conference.
No,
These guys can win, and no matter what conference they're in, they can
Duke
win.
is better than Iowa State, and
I agree. I want to see Duke. I want to see Duke in the top 10, but are they 11 at least for you? Or?
Probably. They haven't really beaten anybody. I was looking, I'm like, they haven't.
Yeah, but they've got the guys to go out there and make a run
Duke
as well as
UNC. I think Duke's kind of made for March Madness because you're gonna Tyrese Proctor still. He's been dealing with injuries. You still got, obviously, Swipkowski. You got Jerry McCain. And you got Jeremy Roach, who's been there before.
And I think it's last year and maybe I'm wrong, but I think last year they kind of did the same thing, kind of fly under the radar.
Yeah, then lost to Tennessee the second. 32.
Correct, but they started playing better ball like now, and who knows? Maybe this is the time because once they get into that ACC, they play tonight. Once they get into the ACC tournament, like that's when these teams start clicking, and that's when they can become dangerous. Because if Duke continues like this, right, they're going to be a 3 seed, 4 seed, maybe.
4 seed,
I don't think they can get much higher than a 4, regardless.
Correct. Yeah, but even if you see Duke at a 4, thank you.
If they win the ACC, they'll be a 3.
Yeah.
They go through.
But I'm saying they're a 3 or a 4. It's a dangerous 3 or 4, and I'm saying that's the same thing with UNC. I see 2 teams there, although they're in the same conference, although they're whatever, they're very similar as they have a ton of talent, and they're going to win in these moments.
Yeah.
And it's February 12th or whatever now, and this is when these teams start clicking it and finding their stride.
7, I got Kansas. They're top 3 when they're at home.
Kansas might be the best in the country at home. They never lose at home.
They can't lose at home, but I just got to see it away from home. They have a big game tonight at Texas Tech.
Short turnaround. It's tough leaving home after a big win against Baylor. They did it. Had to do it again last week.
Yeah.
I think the big Monday is almost kind of unfair.
Oh, Monday games are brutal.
I beg to differ because
Well,
the NCAA tournament you're playing.
Yeah,
you're playing
different.
one day off.
But these guys are
you're not getting
locked
on a
in.
plane on the
Yeah,
day
these guys
off.
are also locked in for they're locked in for the March Madness tournament. These guys they just got a huge win on Saturday, and then they're like, oh shoot, no, gotta go to Texas Tech on a Monday.
But
But whatever, it's gonna be. I'm excited for the game tonight. I'm excited for the game
teams won this
tonight.
game.
Yeah.
6, I got Tennessee. They're coming off a loss at Texas A&M, but I still
A&M's a
trust
good
the
team.
Vols.
A&M's a good team.
By
the way, I need to say this now. It's a crime that Oklahoma is still ranked in the AP poll. They got re-ranked at 25. It's also a crime that Wisconsin's ranked. I think Wisconsin was the worst ever number 6 team. Oh, that's not true. Florida with Kerry Blackshear was number 6 one time. The second worst number 6 team ever.
Yeah.
I mean, they were.
They've
I
lost
watched them a few times.
3 in a row.
I think they're 4 in a row.
Four in a row.
I think they're egregiously bad.
Yep.
That they're still ranked.
Sycamore's are ranked though.
Yeah.
And
Indiana State.
I told Johnny that at practice. I said that's a team that can make that Elite 8
Now,
run.
you said they are making the Elite 8, and I said
Yeah, maybe I will.
A lot of people have had Indiana State at the 8 or 9, but they're going to be higher than an 8
Oh
or
yeah,
9
it'll be a
Yeah, we'll
6,
see.
8,
Let's
6
see how
or
they
7.
do in
Yeah.
Arch Madness.
At 5, I got Arizona. This team, they can score 100 on anybody. Like, when Arizona
they
plays
took
their
care
game,
of business
I mean,
Colorado.
they have so much talent, and they play so fast. They play so well
I
offensively.
think they're better than last year.
And the Caleb
Yeah.
Love transfer is one of the biggest transfers that happened this past offseason, and it's working for Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, Caleb Love is unreal.
They had that stretch last month in January where they were losing some bad games.
Yeah.
And
They're fine. Now it happens. Everyone
last year's
goes low.
national champion, UConn, they lost like 6 games in a row in January last year and
Yeah.
went on to win the Natty. So
They
maybe
go-
Arizona.
Maybe this is Arizona.
I'm really
I
high
like
on
that.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they're young too, right? They start a freshman.
Well,
I
the
forget his
sophomore
name.
Boswell that they start is
Yeah.
an 18-year-old sophomore.
Well, they're young. That's what I mean. Like they're young, so like those games that they were dropping, that could just be young losses that we all experience in sports. But yeah.
At 4, I got Marquette. Again, flying under the radar.
Most
Down
under-
10 at half the other day.
This is the most underrated team in the country.
Came back and won
Tyler
by like 10.
Kalinick
Barbecue chicken.
is, 27. What do you have? 13 assists, 7
Yeah.
rebounds. I mean, unreal. Braden Smith's been doing unreal things. RJ Davis has been doing unreal things. There's very few people that I would take over
Tyler
Kalinick.
Yeah.
He's
raw.
stirs their drink, as Lake says.
Yeah.
I think Marquette's going to end up getting one of the 1 seeds.
Yeah, we'll see.
come
Big East
back
tournament's
tonight.
going to be.
Oh, if they win the Big East, absolutely.
Well, they got UConn still, and Marquette's a game back of them in the Big East, so that game's coming up. That's going to be a huge
It's gonna be
game.
awesome.
3, I got Houston. Almost thought about putting Marquette ahead of them.
Doesn't matter because Houston guards.
I mean, they guard, but
Guard.
can they? If they like the thing about Houston come March is they play so slow offensively that if they don't guard extremely well like they do every game, or they don't hit shots, they are in serious
If
trouble.
a team, if they're a 1 seed and they play an 8 in the second round, like a Florida that can hit 13 threes in a
Any
game.
8 seed.
I'm saying, but
Indiana
Florida's my
State?
team.
Any
Yeah,
8 seed, because
anything like that.
most of the time, those 8 seeds, they're not going to have a dominant
get-
big. They're
they're
just going
gonna
to
get
have some guards that can shoot.
Yeah, I'm scared.
And that's when you see these upsets.
because Houston's not going to be scoring in the 80s. Like it's not going to happen.
Maybe in triple overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
2, I got UConn, and 1, I got Purdue.
Yeah, self-explanatory. I still
Probably
think-
not going to change
Yeah.
until one of them loses.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Purdue kind of.
It might not change even if one.
We'll talk about. I want to talk.
Kinda
I know you were
going
there.
up.
I know you were at the Indiana game. The way I watched the highlights and kind of the last bit of the game. It looked like they beat them by 40. Like, it seemed like they were up 40, and then you look and they only won by 20, right? Yeah. Like, it was one of those weird, and that's like, maybe is that a scare for me for Purdue? No. I mean, I don't think so. A 20-point win is a 20-point win, but I don't know. I don't know if you were there, so did you think it was like a 40-point win?
No, the last 6 minutes, Purdue was messing around. Yeah. Like, Zach Edey was shooting threes. They ran a lob play to Zach Edey. They ran a lob play to a freshman guard. Like, Purdue was like, I felt embarrassed for the IU players because Purdue was messing around because the game was over, and we had our starters in, just not a care in the world. And then on top of that, the fans were just all over them. So I actually kind of felt bad for IU's players, but at the same time, it's like, hey, it's IU. So, but no, I didn't think Purdue played well in the first half.
Yeah,
they had a big halftime lead because Braden Smith took over the game and because Purdue defended for 15 minutes straight. And, they started 0 for 7 from 3, and that's going to happen at some point in March. They're not going to shoot 40% like they are on the season every game, but they're going to need to have that game where they start 0 for 7, you're going to need someone to get them going. Braden Smith and the freshman Miles Colvin did that. They came out, hit 2 threes, back-to-back possessions, and they finished the game 7 for 12.
I'm in on Purdue. This is I hate admitting it, and obviously I hope Illinois beats them here in a couple weeks maybe here. I think first week of March maybe.
3rd.
Yeah, something like that. So obviously I hope Illinois beats Purdue, but I'm in on Purdue.
I'm also on.
There's no, and I hate to say it, but there's no reason why this team can't win a national championship.
They don't have a weakness.
They have 0 weaknesses.
We all talk
Matt
about
Painter is good enough to win. Zach Edey is unreal, and the guards that are now playing like mature college basketball players, which last year, Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, obviously 2 freshmen. Now you add the piece with Lance Jones. I mean, this team can win, and
that's why. We'll see. That's why I didn't have Purdue going past Sweet 16 last year because of the guard play. Mm-hmm. Now Braden Smith is a top 5 point guard in the country.
Yep,
this is one off season for him, but everyone keeps waiting for UConn to slip up, and not only do they not slip up, they freaking take care of business.
Yeah.
Cam Spencer, as underrated
dog.
as
he's underrated.
Yeah. But I mean, college basketball's heating up. Best time of the year for college basketball. Can't wait for March Madness. Can't wait for the conference tournaments.
Can't wait to start picking who wins each conference.
I mean, I think every single day I've heard the March Madness music, and I've just stopped what I've been doing and just listening to it.
It's good. It's exciting, and it's the one thing we got to look forward to. And then right after that, we're right into baseball.
Yeah, let's do it. We're back with another grid. Tanner made this one, so Tanner, go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, so this is going to be the runner-ups in March Madness since 2003. So last 20 NCAA tournament runner-ups. The picture is the national champion, and then on top of it is the year. You guys, I'll give you 3 strikes each, so 6 total. Best of luck, fellas.
You can go first.
No, you go first.
Okay, 2003 Syracuse is Kansas.
2003 Syracuse is Kansas.
Okay. 2023 San Diego State.
Yeah. That is also correct.
2007 Florida is Ohio State.
2007 Florida is Ohio State.
2005 North Carolina is the Illini.
It is.
Yeah. 2006 Florida is UCLA.
It is. Wow.
2004 UConn is the Yellow Jack, Georgia Tech.
Yes.
Come on, James. That's one I didn't know. We're breezing.
I only knew that because
now I'm in trouble.
Come on, James. 2008 Kansas was Memphis.
Yes.
It was.
Come on. We only need 8 strikes.
21 Baylor is Gonzaga.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble here.
I'm going to just keep going from the bottom. 2009 North Carolina was Michigan State.
Yes.
Blowout in that game in Detroit.
22.
Shout out Draymond Green.
22 Kansas is North Carolina.
You're in big trouble, Tanner. You should have gone back further. 2010 Duke was Butler.
I mean...
Yeah. 2010 Duke, Butler.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should have come back
further. I'm in trouble.
You're in trouble?
Louisville, didn't they get stripped of that title?
Doesn't matter. It counts in my heart.
They won the tournament.
I think I might get my first strike here. I could be wrong. I know Wisconsin lost in a national championship. Was it 19 Virginia?
No.
Okay.
19 Virginia was Texas Tech.
It was Texas Tech. Gosh dang it. So if I keep guessing Wisconsin, I'm sure they're somewhere.
They are somewhere. I'll steal it from you after this one, though, if you don't get it.
2018 Wisconsin.
Nope.
No.
2015 Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Really?
Final Four's in
Thank you,
Indianapolis
Yep.
that year.
Tyus Jones, most outstanding player. Come on,
Okay.
one of my
This is-
favorite college players.
This is when I get in trouble.
Oh, jeez, James. Thankfully, I'm going to clear the board for us, but
Dude, like, oh,
come on.
2018. No.
Nope. Yeah, I know you're thinking no.
Oh my God. It's either 18 or 16. I know who.
What are you going through?
North Carolina.
Yeah, it is either 18.
I know. Okay, so I'm picturing where I was when I watched that shot go in.
Yeah.
And that was like maybe my 8th grade freshman year. So I'm going to go 16. North Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's probably my last one.
Yes, James, that's fine. 2011 is also Butler. You can't
Yeah.
beat Butler.
Butler with back-to-back.
Butler upset. I'm pretty sure they upset Florida that
Yeah.
year.
Okay, so I can think of teams. Michigan State lost the national championship.
Already
Michigan
passed that one. Yeah, Michigan did.
Michigan lost one of them.
Yep.
My goodness. An early exit for the kid, and I started off so hot. Like, I mean, I should get 2 points for the Georgia Tech UConn.
You should. I would not have gotten Georgia Tech, so you
I
saved
have
us
no
on the
idea
grid.
how you know that.
Was that Stephon Marbury? Was he on that team?
Who,
No, he was already in the
who
league.
beat? You got the Michigan State one, yeah.
Yeah.
So who beat Michigan? That's
Who beat Michigan? Michigan is not on here. You mean who lost to Michigan?
no. Who beat Michigan? Michigan lost the national championship.
Yeah, I thought I meant. Yeah.
No helping.
I mean, I'm gonna clear the board with no strikes.
James, you're going to have to hurry up.
I
there.
understand.
It's gonna count on us with the pressure on.
5.
Give me 10
4,
count. Give me 10
no,
count.
3,
Backcourt. Give me
7.
2012 Michigan.
Incorrect. James is gone.
2012's Louisville.
2012 was not Louisville.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Oh, 2012 was Kansas.
Yes.
Yeah, they beat Louisville in the
So
final.
Johnny has 2 strikes left.
2013 is Michigan.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it
20,
was a year
2014 is Kentucky.
Yes.
2017 was, give me a second, Gonzaga
Gonzaga,
and
yes.
Phoenix. South Carolina made the Final Four that year.
Mhm.
2018 was Michigan. That was Loyola Chicago's sister Jean. Right?
And that is the grid.
Come on, Shador. We should go through and name outstanding players.
No,
Same
I think I'm
players.
going to call it there for me.
Who do you know who won
Okay.
the 23 most outstanding player we're talking about? Was it Tristan Newton?
No, it was
Or is
Sonogo.
Oh, yeah.
Sonogo, O'Shea Abaji, Jared Butler, Kyle Guy,
Brunson.
DiVincenzo.
Or DiVincenzo.
No,
DiVincenzo.
17
Would have
was
been Jackson.
no, or Joe
Nope.
Barry.
It was Joe Barry. 100%.
16 was Ryan Arcidiacono.
Yep.
15 was
Tyus
Tyus Jones.
Jones.
14 was
Napier.
yep. 13 was
Siva.
no Hamilton.
Zhang.
No, Hamilton, the dude that hit the 5 straight threes.
Facts.
Oh, Hancock. Luke Hancock.
Yeah. 12 was Davis.
Davis, 11
who,
Walker.
Davis, by the way, who only made 1 field goal in that game. 11 was Kemba Walker. 10
Is
was
that Kyle Singler?
yeah. I don't know. We don't know this for sure. 9 was
Hansbrough.
I thought Hansbrough. 8 was Mario Chalmers. 7 was Corey Brewer.
I got
6
06. I got the Gators.
Seven,
Joakim Noah.
well, 7 was Corey Brewer. 6 was Joakim Noah.
5
was it? Who's their big dude? The dude that wore the big knee brace.
I have no idea.
Oh, and 03 was Carmelo Anthony.
Who?
Come on.
who-
04 was,
Anthony Davis won. We didn't say him, did we?
We did for 12.
I was gonna say, I didn't even hear his name.
Come on, good grid.
Wow.
That was solid. We actually did better
Yeah.
on the
Should we name some of the Final
outstanding
Four?
player.
The
No.
Final Four ones?
I think we just got to take our victory and
I
we
don't
got to
know. I
run.
could keep going. I
I don't know. 2023. I mean, we could
San
just
Diego State, FAU. Who's the last one?
Miami.
Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke.
Miami beat who in that year? One
Villanova.
season.
Villanova. 21 was
Houston.
UConn, Houston.
UCLA.
Yep. 19 was Duke lost
Auburn and
to
Michigan State and Texas Tech.
Yep. 18 was Loyola Chicago, Michigan, and
Kansas.
Oklahoma. Oh, Kansas. Yes, Kansas. 16 was Oklahoma, but 17 South Carolina, Gonzaga.
These
North
guys are just
Carolina,
chatting.
Oregon. 16 was
Syracuse.
yep Oklahoma,
Oklahoma.
Villanova, and North Carolina.
And North Carolina.
15 was Kentucky on the undefeated
They were
season.
undefeated.
Michigan State as an 8 that year. Made it, or 7.
7.
One of the two. And then Wisconsin and Duke. 14 was Florida, Kentucky, UConn, and Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
13, I don't
Wichita State.
know. Yeah, there you go, T.
I picked them to go to the Final Four. that year.
Louisville, Michigan, and Syracuse.
Syracuse. Yeah.
12 was Louisville.
Ohio
Kentucky,
State.
Ohio State. Was that Aaron Craft, Ohio State?
Yeah.
Come on.
2011.
Kentucky, Michigan State, Butler,
There
VCU.
you go.
Or no.
Not VCU. VCU wasn't that year.
VCU was in
Was it?
11.
Ooh.
It wasn't. It was Michigan State, Kentucky. Because UConn beat Kentucky in the Final Four, and then Butler beat VCU. It wasn't
Yeah.
Michigan State. Michigan State was at 10,
Yeah.
and West Virginia.
Yes, Price, Virginia. 06, George Mason was in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Fun fact. But, yeah. That's his part. We'll start showing, we'll stop showing it off there.
Yeah. We
Anyway.
named the whole Final Four from 2010 on.
Come on. It's light.
Oh, you guys done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, James.
Oh, that's fine.
Anyway, let us know how you guys did. Sorry for Tanner's and I's.
We just had to keep going.
We're just so excited for March Madness.
I mean, here's what they did. I did actually pretty good on the grid, and then they had to show that I didn't know it was in the Final Four.
Not at all what
In
happened.
2013,
I'm
when
sorry,
I was
but-
in 5th grade. Was I in 5th grade in 2013?
I don't know. But
Could have been, maybe. Louisville got stripped. I mean,
That was yeah.
got stripped of their title.
Anyway,
Yeah, well.
if you guys made it this far, thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back on Friday with another episode. No football. We're going to have to experiment with some things to talk about. We'll still
Hopefully
do some
not
off-season-
extra trivia.
We'll do some off-season previews coming up. We're going to start getting to our baseball predictions.
MLB, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of good stuff. Even though football is over, don't
It's
leave
basketball
us, stick
time.
around. It's basketball, it's
NBA,
baseball time.
yep.
NBA, can't even forget about NBA.
Maybe show some love for some hockey.
Oh, by the
Who
way,
knows?
I have a hot take about the Knicks. Maybe I should say it right now. Everyone's hype on the Knicks because they're 14-2 in January, all that stuff. A team led as Jalen Brunson as their best player will not win the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson has been unreal this year. He's averaging like 28. He's been so incredibly good. The OG Anunoby trade fits like a glove. But let's go back and think about the best player on the best team, right? You had the Warriors teams with obviously Steph and KD. You had Kawhi Leonard. You had Giannis. You had LeBron, Anthony Davis. It's just Jalen Brunson isn't that kind of player. Sorry, I've just been hearing a lot of Knicks all of a sudden going to the final talk.
When you got a hot team, you
Not
start
for me.
getting your.
They're very
Warriors.
good, and I love me some Jalen Brunson. And when he was National Player of the Year at Villanova, I loved me some Jalen Brunson.
I don't even know if they win a playoff series.
No, they'll win a playoff series.
I
I don't know if there are 3 playing a 16 Pacers.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's not why I don't know.
Anyway, sorry for the NBA tangent at the end. We will have more NBA coming up. If you have any more ideas, comment down below. Leave a like, comment, share it with someone, and we'll see you guys on Friday.
See ya.